In his third season from Alabama, number 0, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs just signed a massive deal, 3 years, $68.75 million, has been confirmed by Adam Schefter, and of course through the agent of Jahmyr Gibbs. So I went back the other day and I started reposting some of my old things. You know, I mean, you could say I get off on these things. I love doing predictions. I absolutely love doing predictions, and I love them even more when they're right or very, 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 very close, right? And so I put one out there the other day, or I'm sorry, back in May 9th. And then I put another final prediction up the other day. And I got to go find it. I want to find the exact numbers here. Got to find the exact numbers. I'm curious. I am real curious what I put out. Man, what a massive deal for Jahmyr. What a massive deal for the Lions, man. Like, this is what's got to put us over the edge. This team is set up to do great things this year. I get it. The injuries are a little bit of a concern, but the core is still intact. And that's the most important thing. Man, I don't know where I put it now. You know, I'll just pull up my old article. I know it's in there. One of them's in there. I think I called it like something like Gibbs was going to reset the market, and my initial prediction was 22 million. That he was going to reset the market at 22 million. Well, they did reset the market at 22 million. Jonathan Taylor got 22 million. Bijan Robinson got 22 and a quarter. And now Gibbs is getting Gibbs is getting 67 and a half. $22.5. He got $250,000 more. 22.5. So I was $500,000 off, y'all, from my most recent prediction, which was 69 million over 3 years. I was $500,000 off per year. That's pretty crazy. I don't know why everyone had his numbers so low. If you remember, we did Spotrac a couple of months ago, and they had him at 18 million. They had him lower than Bijan Robinson, which was even more nutty to me because the dude has scored 49 touchdowns in the last 3 years. You can't replace scoring, man. Like yards and stats, they're one thing, right? It's like probably a bad analogy, maybe a great analogy. I don't know. I'm just going to use Aiden for example. Now, this is not Aiden hate, but I'm going to use Aiden for an example. It's like if Aiden goes and breaks the sack record, but he misses 25% of his tackles all season long, and you don't win a lot of ball games, the Browns, right? You get what I'm saying? If you miss a bunch of tackles, but you get a bunch of independent solo sacks, you know, a bunch of solo stats, and you're not helping your team win, it's kind of pointless. And so if a running back is just, getting a ton of stats, but they're not able to score, they're not able to get first downs, what's the point? And I mean, I'm not saying that Bijan Robinson or Jonathan Taylor are like that, because they're not. But Jahmyr scored 49 touchdowns. And nobody is even close in the last 3 years. He had, 18 last year? Did he have 20 the year before that? He's just insane. The dude is absolutely on fire. And right now he hasn't even had a full load yet. He hasn't even had a full load as the workhorse or the bell cow, whatever you want to call it. He's been averaging 14 snaps a game. And to think the old guys, Barry Sanders and Adrian Peterson and Emmitt Smith, they were getting the rock 23, 25, 27 times a game. It's insane. Their production was meaningful to their team. What they did down in and down out, it was a different style of football back then. But Jahmyr Gibbs is an absolute threat from the outside. He's a threat from the inside. He's a threat from behind the line. He's a threat wherever you put him. And he'll score wherever you put him. He's literally one touch away from the end zone anytime he gets the ball. Is Bijan Robinson one touch away? I don't think so. I mean, he's a hell of a football player, but he still hasn't shown the ability to do what Jahmyr Gibbs has done. Great football player. Sky's the limit for Bijan. He's going to be fun to watch. I mean, he was my second best, my second favorite running back out of that draft. And he's still one of my favorite running backs to watch, obviously. Like, if I have a chance to get him up in fantasy, do you think I'm going to turn it down? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's just take a quick peek at what I looked at in May. We'll go back to DetroitFootballJournal.com. How's the buffering? Are we good? You guys all good? We doing better? I had to turn the latency down a little bit too, so there's going to be a small delay. I hate having latency when we have breaking news. All right, let's see if this is lined up. It should be. Oh, maybe it's not. So last May, I put out an article. I caught a lot of hell for it. I had a few messages where people were just saying, "What are you thinking?" Like, there's just no way. There's no way that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get that kind of money. And I thought to myself, yeah, just looking at the projections and looking where, the money is starting to move in the NFL, and every year it's last couple of years it's been going up 9 to 10%, which is like 30 million. The money is going to go up. I mean, the money is going to go up year over year anyway, and then you tack on whatever the NFL went up, you continue to tack that on every year. And this number represents about double that, is what most people expected, somewhere between 18 and 19 million or 17 and 19 million for all of the top running backs. And I think that, with Jahmyr Gibbs and the next tier down, right? The next tier down is Achane and Breece Hall. So you go from 22 million all the way down to 16 million. That is a huge gap. Over $6 million gap between tier 1 and tier 2. That's a massive number. I mean, this is exactly why David Montgomery is not in town. It makes sense. If Brad was ever thinking that this deal was going to be this big, then he already knew that he couldn't pay David Montgomery, quite simply because the gap between these, it makes sense now. That $6 million gap, that's paying for David Montgomery right now, plus a couple more, right? $2 more million is not hard to find. It's that 6 that's hard to find. It's exactly why he's not in town right now. So I have a pretty good inclination that Brad knew what was coming. But anyway, what I had said about Jahmyr Gibbs in this article was a lot. I mean, I went through and compared him. So I think this is a perfect time to kind of go through it, where I say, stat lines say a lot, right? In the 2025 comparison, and this is between Hall and Gibbs and Robinson, how each player brings a different argument to the table. And it gives each player a different contract lane as well. I said, but with Hall already paid, the race between Gibbs and Robinson is narrowed. Robinson is the workload and yardage case, and Gibbs is the scoring and efficiency weapon. Hall had 243 carries, 1,065 yards, 36 catches for 350, and 5 total touchdowns. 5. Just 5. Gibbs had the same 243 carries, but turned that into 1,223 rushing yards. And then he threw in 77 catches last season for another 616. That's my old area code, by the way, 616. And he threw in 18 total touchdowns. 3 times as many touchdowns, more than 3 times as many touchdowns as Breece Hall. Robinson had 287 touches, so he had 44 more touches than Gibbs, and he only produced 45 more yards. 1478 on the year. 79 catches, so he had 2 more catches, 820 yards. So he had about 204 more yards through the air than what Jahmyr Gibbs did. Can that number be better for Gibbs? Absolutely can. Did Johnny Morton screw him all up last year? No, but it could have been better. You could have put Gibbs in a better situation. The little dink and dunk stuff, that's what was holding him back. And he had 11 touchdowns. So what Gibbs did versus Bijan last year, I mean, it still dwarfed him, right? And over the last 3 seasons, nobody's close. Not even close. You could combine what Robinson and Hall did, and you are still short of what Jahmyr Gibbs did. So that 3-year rushing comparison, it really shows the difference in workload, the return, and what makes Gibbs' argument even sharper. I had Gibbs being the number 1 paid running back in the league. No questions asked. So Hall and Gibbs had the same number of carries, but Gibbs produced 640. I already went through all that. Hall turned 675 carries into 2,935 yards in 14 rushing touchdowns over the last 3 years. Gibbs turned the same 675 carries as Hall into 3,580 total yards and 39 touchdowns, y'all. 39 touchdowns.
Stacking.
He's stacking TDs like it's his job, and it is his job. But that's 600 more yards than Hall and 25 more touchdowns. It's crazy to me. And for Bijan Robinson, who carried that larger workload, right? 805 carries, had 3,910 rushing yards over the last 3 seasons, and just 25 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs still has 14 more rushing touchdowns than Bijan Robinson just on the ground. So again, Jahmyr Gibbs had 25 more rushing touchdowns than Hall on the exact same carry, and then 14 more than Robinson. And since 2023, the receiving numbers show just how close the all-purpose value gets for all of these running backs. The volume and yardage edge really favors Robinson, but the scoring and the efficiency edge is what leans in Gibbs' direction, and that is what a guy like Drew Petzing and Dan Campbell are looking for. How many times do you need the ball to score? Right? There's only so many touches that can go around in a game. There's only so many players that are going to get fed an opportunity. And the difference is with Gibbs is he doesn't need as many touches. He doesn't need as many opportunities. He can score more efficiently. And that is what makes him more valuable as a running back. And he is just now starting to scratch the surface of becoming a prime football player. It is, in his prime. His 4th season in the NFL, and he has yet to be the workhorse. And to me, it's a dangerous combination of, do you really want to feed him more? Or is he just going to be on the field for more snaps? And those snaps are going to cause a lot of confusion and problem on the defense. And that means other guys on this offense are going to be able to produce a lot more. As far as the receiving gap, obviously it's a little bit closer. Breece Hall had 22 offensive touchdowns since 2023. Robinson had 34 combined rushing and receiving touchdowns since 2023. And Jahmyr Gibbs, 49 combined touchdowns since 2023. So yards create value, but touchdowns create leverage. And have we not heard that word multiple times this year from this coaching staff in Detroit? They're looking for leverage. They want these guys to play with leverage. It has come out multiple times in press conferences. And that's exactly what I was writing way back when, in May, I think is when this one released, about that same exact thing. I would love for you guys to go subscribe to DetroitFootballJournal.com. I just granted another 10 free 30-day trials today. Appreciate you guys subscribing. So get in there and check out this content. You're not going to see this content anywhere else on the internet. I do really good deep dives. It's what I love to do. I don't write short articles. If you want real material, not to say that nobody else does a good job, because there's plenty of beat writers that do. I'm different, right? I don't get paid to do this. So I do what I want to do. I don't have to put out 5 things a day. I can put out, once a day, once every couple of days, and trust me, it's worth the wait. Let me skip down a little bit because all of this is just filler. It really sells Gibbs, but let me just read this paragraph here. It says the fact that Gibbs has done all of this in a split back system should strengthen his contract number, right? Not weaken it. And since 2023, Gibbs produced 5,029 yards from scrimmage, the 49 touchdowns, outpacing Saquon Barkley's 4,938 scrimmage yards and 34 touchdowns. And over that same window. So Gibbs has been better than Barkley, even with Barkley's 2,000-yard season. Let that sink in. He had a 2,000-yard head start over Jahmyr Gibbs, and Gibbs still outproduced him. So now that he may have a larger workload, that is scary. And Robinson did have a larger workload, and Gibbs still produced 14 more touchdowns. So that is the contract argument for me right there. Like, that's it. He's done better than McCaffrey. He's done better than Saquon. He's done better than Bijan and Breece Hall and Jonathan Taylor. So Gibbs is not needed to be the feature back, right? The volume to produce the top of the market results. He hasn't needed that, but now he's going to get it. Detroit gave Gibbs high value touches, and he responded with the production that changes the money, the real money, which is touchdowns, because you're not winning football games without scoring points or keeping points off the board. And then I talked about the Drew Petzing effect, and I think that this is going to be huge because the Drew Petzing effect, when they hired him, not only is he inheriting a back who could become that stress point for defenses, but Petzing does not need to reinvent Jahmyr Gibbs. He simply just needs to plug him in. That's it. It's that simple. So that means more motion, more space, more screens, more option routes, more choice routes, light boxes, empty looks, and mismatches, all against these linebackers that aren't going to know what to do in this offense or against this offense because it's all going to look the same. It also means that touches that do not just feed Gibbs, right? They don't just need to feed him. It forces the defense to change how it plays the Lions. So if Gibbs gets a better role or a bigger role under Petzing and keeps the efficiency, then Detroit could be negotiating with one of the most dangerous offensive weapons in the league. And yes, I believe that. I think that Gibbs is the best player in the league. And matter of fact, Jameson Williams thinks the same thing too.
Because he the best of the best.
Right? Remember what he said?
I wouldn't even say look at the stats, look at the film.
And he also said he's going to be the highest paid.
Stacking.
And he is. Man, what an exciting day. All right, here's what I said about Gibbs and what he could cost back then. Before Hall signed, the projection for Gibbs was sitting around 4 years, $72 million, or $18 million per year. After Hall's deal came in at $15.25 million, even $18 million starts to feel a little light. And if Gibbs signs for $18 million per year, Detroit would only be paying him $2.75 more than Hall. And that gap does not match the production gap, not with the same 3-year rushing attempts, not with the 645 more rushing yards, and not with the 27 more total offensive touchdowns over Breece Hall. And so not with Gibbs entering a Petzing offense that should expand his role either, right? So a conservative team win would be 4 years for $72 million or $18 million per year. The practical projection is 4 years at $78 million or $19.5 million per year. The aggressive projection was 4 years at $84 million or $21 million per year. But if Detroit waits, and this was my prediction back then too, if Detroit waits and Robinson signs first, or Gibbs breaks out in 2026 and hasn't signed yet, and the market gets away from them being the Lions, then this contract, here it is, could exceed $22 million per year. Well, what happened, y'all? Robinson signed first. That set the new market at $22 million. There's no way you were not going to pay Gibbs. There's no way. There's no way you weren't going to pay him less than that. These are all the stats comparing all the guys. So my final take on this whole thing back in May, you had a couple of different options, right? With the fifth-year option picked up, the Lions, could get this done in one of two ways. A new 4-year deal that replaces the option structure, or a 3-year extension stacked on top of the fifth-year option. If the Lions gave Gibbs a 4-year, $76 million deal, including the fifth-year option, that would essentially work with like a 3-year, $61 million extension added onto the option year. Gibbs' contract may feel expensive today, but if Robinson signed first or if Petsing turns Gibbs loose in 26, that same number is going to look like a discount in 27. And it will be. So my prediction, again, back in May, that Gibbs becomes the highest paid running back in the game. Saquon Barkley is the current leader at 20.6. Christian McCaffrey's at 19. I don't see Gibbs coming in below Barkley, especially when Gibbs outpaced Barkley last season and over the last 3 seasons combined. Barkley had a massive 24 season to reset the top of the market, and then Gibbs has the stronger 3-year case. He has been more efficient, more productive as a receiver, and more valuable as a touchdown creator. My overall prediction was a 4-year, $85 million, $45 million guaranteed, including that 5th-year option. That new money was 3 years at $70.7 million, y'all. $70.7 million. That was my prediction. And how close was I? I was off by 3.2 on their 3-year deal. 3.2. And that's 23.5 AAV. When you combine it all together, the total new money was 21.25. And yesterday's prediction, I dropped in the bucket, was $69 million. I'll go back and find it. I don't know where I put it. I put it somewhere. I don't know if I put it in a post or if I put it on Twitter or where I put it in an article. I don't even know now. There's so much happening yesterday. Oh, you know what? I think I did it in a video. That's where I did it. I did it in a video yesterday. That's where the last prediction came. See if I still have that. I don't see it. It's in the video. I'd have to go back and listen to it. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, look, Gibbs is done. And now the Lions can move forward. And that's the biggest part of the offseason, or the biggest part of the new season right now, is that the Lions don't have any more, any more distractions. The Terrion Arnold distraction really screwed things up initially. The draft got screwed up a little bit, I think, because had they known a little bit more, maybe Brad would have gone a different way. I think he's still got some banger players. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Keith Abney is working out big time right now. It's unfortunate that Roller and Moore injured, and Blake Miller is going to be just fine. But even if we get 2 studs out of this year's draft, I mean, that's how many more can we have? I mean, yeah, the answer is yes. You want more. But how are you going to be able to pay them? Because in 2028, things are going to get really real, really quick for a lot of these contracts. Remember, Jared Goff's deal right now is backloaded. Aiden Hutchinson's deal is backloaded. Kirby Joseph's deal is backloaded. So let's take a look at Spotrac and kind of see where things are going to converge. We did this the other day. Let's see if anything is updated. All right, looks like I'm signed in. All right, before I do that, though, let's see. Robbie says there's only so much money to go around. If I hear someone say trade J-Mo, I'm going to have an aneurysm. Dude, I already told you I think he's the first one to go. I mean, remember, you can get receivers. Now, put it to you this way. Look, if J-Mo cleans everything up this year and he doesn't have a bunch of drops like he did last year, and he can really straighten out a few things, he ain't going nowhere. At least not for another year. And that'll be in 28. So in 28, look, I think we'd be okay. You're going to find somebody else. And depending on how Tesla, grows, it'll be easier to find another replacement receiver that can be just as dynamic. I mean, look, J-Mo is special. Don't get me wrong. He's a special athlete. But There's a reason why, the powers that be left him out of the top 100. And there's a reason why he hasn't, had a major breakout season yet. This year could be the year. That doesn't mean that I'd want to be anywhere else, right now without JMO. I just think it can be a little bit easier to walk away from a receiver, just like it can be just as easy to walk away from a running back. But the difference is scoring and efficiency. And right now, Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy that you keep. And the reason why is because he's another receiver. Tell me another running back outside of Bijan Robinson that's lining up in the slot 77 times a year and can actually be a major threat. They didn't put Gibbs into a lot of good situations last year downfield. But you start putting him in some other routes, and he starts to extend those routes to the end zone, those yardage numbers are going to go sky high. I mean, this could be a year that Gibbs goes for 15 and 1,000. And so at that point, you got to start looking at it like, okay, like we can replace the efficiency, but then what happens with JMO off the field? It's another threat that, defenses don't have to worry about. So they're all great arguments, and these are all hard questions and hard decisions that, no GM wants to ever make. There's some really good receivers coming in, in the next couple of drafts. And I do believe that the Lions will be finding some. Yeah, I'll disagree on that statement. I've watched all the film. Remember, last year JMO got hung up in the middle. He wasn't pulling anybody. The only way he pulls is if he goes on verticals. Attila says, remember, Detroit is in better shape than the majority of teams in the NFL. They will adjust the cap for them. What does that say? Caters to what? They will adjust the cap for them and will help Detroit in these contracts in the future. I'm not sure. Oh, the NFL caters. So they will adjust the cap. No, the cap's going to go up no matter what. It's going to go up about 9-10% every year is the expected number over the next couple of seasons, barring some financial collapse, because for the first time in history, our debt is higher. Our national debt is higher than our GDP. That's never happened before. And so we're on the brink of financial collapse. And if then that happens, well, then that changes a lot for the NFL, because people stop going to games, people stop buying tickets. There's no extra money to be, people spending extra money. There's only so many Lions loyal members that will be able to hold on to their tickets too, especially with how expensive they are. So if something crazy happens in this country, it will affect this game. And if this salary cap can't continue to go up and up and up like it has been, that crunch is going to be real. And so that kind of happened, a couple of times in history where we've had the salary cap actually kind of stay put. And that was right around 07, 08, right? And I even think during the C years of 2021, 22, in that area, that it wasn't growing as fast. And that's why they took these big leaps over the last couple of seasons, because things were growing and they needed to make up for a couple of lost seasons. So let's just hope nothing happens, right? Let's just hope nothing happens. Cynthia says, Randall, I agree. I have to admit that I was concerned it was going to take too long. Let me go back and find Randall's statement. Hasadine Mahdi, what's happening? Grandma Trace, I know you're excited. Let's see. J-Rod says, they raise the money a little every year. I do agree with these contracts of Gibbs and Bijan. Definitely changes the financial juggling. Roster gymnastics, man. Salary cap gymnastics. Edge is not the answer, says, was there a lot of the same reaction when we signed Kirby again, with Aleem again with Hutch? Ooh. What are you trying to say there? What you trying to get me mad? Or not me mad. You trying to get people mad at me because you know my reaction. I mean, how would you feel if the Lions had to walk away from Aiden? That's a big number, man. I mean, Aiden is making 3 times the amount of Jahmyr Gibbs. 3 times of guaranteed money. Guaranteed money. Like the overall is like 185 or whatever it is. So it's damn near 3 times. 2.7 times what Jahmyr Gibbs' number is. That's what's insane. Because he's not scoring touchdowns. And he's definitely not getting a lot of third down sacks or fourth down sacks to help this defense go the other direction. But this year, I'm hoping a lot of that's going to change because of this new style of defense that the Lions are running. All right, let's take a look at Spotrac. Let's see where this big convergence is going to happen. Can the Lions hold on to everybody? Can they? How long can they hold on to everybody? That's the question. That is the question. One of these days, I'm just going to have to learn how to trust my Stream Deck here. Let me fix this real quick. Let me take a brief 30 seconds or less, and when I get back, we're going to jump right into this.
Every day, thousands of people are discovering Uper Lights, Michigan's newest, funnest rock to go find on the shores of the Great Lakes. Don't go out with just any light. Try the Convoy C8 from uperlights.com. It's guaranteed for life, and you'll find all the ones everyone else misses. Quality UV lights that are perfect for Uper Lights with prices starting as low as $20. Please make sure to visit uperlights.com for all your UV flashlight needs with the best guarantees on the market. Just what you wanted and not what you didn't. The best quality, the best guarantees, and the best UV flashlights from uperlights.com.
All right, so let's jump into the Lions' future here, because now that Jahmyr Gibbs is signed, I mean, this is one of 3. You still have Brian Branch, you still have Sam Laporta, and those are all real problems. Good problems, but problems nonetheless. So the Lions' cap number in 2026 is going to change. I doubt that the number is going to change a whole lot. You know, based on the signing bonus, there's probably going to be like 4 void years on top of this thing. But based on the cap number, you know, this overall cap that the Lions have reported to have here by Spotrac at 15.3 is probably going to end up being $9 million is probably what they're going to have left, assuming that his signing bonus is going to eat into that, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 million this year. Bijan's number, I think, went to, gosh, what did it go to? Did he go to like 8 million this year? And then like 11 million next year or something, 7 and then 11. So Gibbs will probably, you know, go up 3, 4, 5, 6 million this year. And then he'll probably be at like that 15 million range next year with a total cap hit of probably close to 19, depending on how they structure it, right? That all depends on how the Lions structure it. So, I mean, welcome into the new president, right? I mean, you come in and on day one, you're signing a brand new deal with Jahmyr Gibbs. That has to feel pretty good. That has to feel that he was a part of that. All right. So here's 2026. Lions are at 345. They have the 7th most money spent. 7th most money spent. It's probably going to bump up to the 6th or the 5th by the time they're done with this. And when we move into, and we have 90 players on the roster. I wonder who we just lost today. Why it only says 90 now. You move into 2027. And the Lions are the 21st highest salary in the league at 276. But we only have 41 players signed. We only have 41 players signed. And now Jahmyr Gibbs' number is going to go up a little bit. But just look at these numbers, man. Jared Goff's cap hit next year is almost $63 million. Penei Sewell, 32. Amon-Ra St. Brown, like 29. Ali McNeil, 27. Aiden Hutchinson, 16. Jahmyr Gibbs, that's probably going to go up a couple million. Jamison Williams, damn near 11. Cade Mays, 9.3. Kirby Joseph, 9.1. DJ Reed at 8. Jack Campbell at 5.5. That's going to be one of the last years we see Jack Campbell that low. And then you get into a bunch of the, higher rookie deals, right? Well, what about Branch and Laporta? See, Branch and Laporta are going to have new deals too, and because they were not first-round draft picks, that means their new number is going to hit next year. So this will change. Right now, where's Branch and Laporta? Where are they at? Where are they at in this thing? Oh, they're not in here. Right? Yeah, they're not in here because this is next year. They're not in here. So you can add on at least another probably 15 million combined for those two guys for next year. And that means that the Lions they're going to run out of money fast when you have all those other players to sign. Let's go to 28 because this is the year where I say everything's going to converge. We actually go up in total cap spent, and we've reduced our player number to 36. You see this number on the top left here? So we have 41 signed in 27. We go down to 36 players signed in 28. And we actually went up in cap spent to 285. And we're already the 6th most expensive team. Now, between now and then, well, that number is going to end up probably going up about 50 to 60 million in salary cap. So this number that's allocated right here for the top 51, that number is probably going to be more like 175 or 180 available, which is a ton of money. But you also have 2 more top tier players to sign. And then who's behind them, right? How many players are going to be right behind him? DJ Reed's on a void year, so you need another number 1 corner. So there's going to be another big deal. That's if DJ Reed plays well this year, he's going to probably need a new deal. Blake Miller won't matter. Tyreek Williams. So this will be his 2nd year. Next year in 27 will be his 3rd. So he'll be looking for a new deal in 2028. Cade Mays. He'll be in his 3rd season. We're going to need a new center. Maybe we've drafted one by this point. Maybe we haven't. Derek Moore won't matter. Derek Barnes is on a void year, so we're going to need another Sam linebacker. And if we get one in free agency, you guys have seen the numbers for that. I mean, you're looking at 25 plus per year to go find a really good Sam linebacker. Tate Ratledge, he'll be looking for a new contract. And you guys have seen what, offensive linemen are going to make. He's probably going to make no less than probably $27 million a year when we get to that point, because the numbers are going to continue to drive. Isaac Tesla, he'll be looking for a new contract in 2028. So, I mean, I could play with some of this right now and just do some standard extensions and see what happens. Let's do some standard extensions. Let's do Sam Laporta. We're going to go market value. And we'll just leave it at that. We'll do market value. We'll do Brian Branch. We're going to do a market value. Let's see. Who else are we going to need? Question is, oh, this is not in this year, though. Or this is not in 28. I think we ran into this problem last night or the other night where it wouldn't let me then move forward to look at future years. I don't really think I can do much else. All right, so what did that do? Original top 31, total cap space 7.8. Jahmyr Gibbs, he's not extended yet. Let's extend him. Market value 68 point. I mean, that's really close. Let's extend him. We got 4 million in cap space now for this year. Our top 51 cap is 314,600,000. We have 4.1 million in cap space available. The thing that sucks is it's not going to let me go to the next year. I don't know what season mode is. I don't know what the difference is there. What is season mode? Let's find out. Let's do the extension now. Why when we switch to season mode do we have negative money? Lions are negative 31 million. This isn't making any sense. See, when I go to multi-year, it's just not letting me carry forward. Huh. I don't know what happened. Let me go to over the cap. Let's see if there's changed. I got to sign in. It's not letting me sign in. Sign in. What in the world? Okay. Anyway, let's go to Sam Laporta here. Let's see if I can do anything with this contract. I guess not. I said extension. I didn't do anything. I don't know, y'all. I don't know what happened, man. I used to use this stuff religiously, and it wasn't this stupid. I never had issues like this. I could go from year to year to year, and I could put the numbers in, and we could go year to year to year and look at everything moving forward. And now you can't. Oh, well. We've seen the numbers. I mean, you do basic math, and you can see in 2028. So let me go back to multi-year and go to 28. In 2028, the Lions currently have like I said earlier, the sixth highest salary cap allocated to only 36 players. And of those players, one more time, DJ Reed won't be here. Derek Barnes won't be here, or they're going to need big contracts. Brock Wright won't be here. Obviously, he won't be here after this year unless we do something. And then Jahmyr Gibbs is about to reset the floor. Or he already reset the floor. It's about to add to this contract and this cap hit. In 2028 is when Jahmyr Gibbs' first year is really going to officially hit on that extension. And then in 2028, you're going to have all of your players that were drafted in 2025, that were drafted in the first round, are going to be looking for first and second are going to be looking for a new deal. So 25, 26, 27. So in 2028, your first rounders are going to be looking for a new deal. And then either at the end of that year or during that year, I mean, they may get something done with the other guys, but in 2029, all of your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh rounders from 2025 are going to be looking for new deals. So that's why I said 2028 is like the year when all of this comes to a head. But at least for right now, the Lions, they have what they have, man. They got a good team. And I wouldn't want a better team than what we're seeing right now to be able to go win a Super Bowl. All right. So since I can't do anything, since I can't do anything with that, let's do a 53-man projection, and then I'm going to get out of here. I think we have a lot of information through the first week on where these players are trending, who's trending the most, and possibly where they're going to end up. We'll go position by position. When I do position by position, if you'd like to play along, put your predictions in the chat and in the comments below. All right, so according to our lads right now, I better sign in or we're going to have a problem. Hold on. I am ad-free. I don't want a new password. It's ridiculous. All right, we're going back. Let's start with the offense, since it's right in front of us. Just need one clean sheet of paper. I don't know if I have any left. I'll have to go grab some. All right, I'll be right back. I got to grab some paper.
Middle caught inside the 5. Jahmyr Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. 14 yards on the strike. Goff to Gibbs. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
Oh, nice job.
Jared takes the snap, back looking, throwing middle. Got Amon-Ra inside the 2, to the 1, to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra, St. Brown. Amon-Ra, St. Brown.
Nice job.
Mariota's got it back. Pressure comes.
Hutchinson, he goes down again.
All right, 53-man projections. Starting with the offense. Man, they got Cedric Wilson in as, what is he? He's the fourth or fifth receiver right now. That's crazy. Take a look at this by our lads. Our lads, by the way, I believe they have the most up-to-date rosters, and it's like $25 a year, y'all. It's not expensive. Just like Spotrack's like 30, and I think Over the Cap I think is like 30 a year. It's not terrible, but by the time you add up the other 15 subscriptions I have, it gets up there. And we haven't even paid for Sunday Ticket yet. I mean, my God. All right, so on the offense, we'll start with receivers. I think this one's pretty clear through the first four. You got 14, number 1, 18. Dortch is what, number 8? Dortch. And then after that, it gets interesting. Cedric Wilson is really making a name for himself right now. Like big time. Malik Cunningham's still interesting, but he's been pretty quiet. Oh, we have 11 receivers on the roster right now. We just released Keys, right? So he's now gone. But Lucky Jackson's still there, and Cedric Wilson. That is going to be one hell of a battle, I think, between. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Man, Dominic Lovett is right there too, and he made the roster last year. And Jackson Meeks is now a tight end, which spreads the love. All right, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say that the Lions keep 6, which is crazy. I'm going to say they keep 6. And we're going to go 86. We're going to go with Cedric Wilson. But I could also see where Cedric Wilson is put on the vet squad because he's a vet. So it's one of those unique, those roster gymnastics moves where Brad Holmes can keep the guy without keeping the guy. You know what I mean? I think 19 is in Dominic Lovett. And we're going to go 86. So those are going to be my top 6 for right now until I have to get rid of somebody. And if I have to get rid of somebody, then it's going to be a receiver. All right, let's go tackles. We'll start with left tackle since it's right in front of me. You got 58, Penei Sewell. And directly behind him, you don't have Giovanni Manu because he's done so. I think it's Miles Frazier. I'm sorry, not Miles Frazier. I mean, I guess it could be. It could be Frazier because he's played both. He's played both positions. It's definitely not Sorsdahl. It's not Neese. It's not Priestley, and it's not Mason Miller. Larry Borum can be a swing. Yeah, I'll throw Borum in there, or I'll throw Frazier in there for right now as a main backup. All right, and then we're gonna go left guard. Obviously, we're gonna kick it off with number 73, Mahogany. I haven't seen anything, with Ben Barch yet. I mean, we don't know anything. And you could pencil Frazier in there too, because he can back up both spots. And you have Juice Scruggs, who's a much better center backup than he has been a left guard. And I do think that they're going to keep an extra center. So for right now, I'm going to put Ben Barch in there, even though we haven't seen anything from him. So I'm going to go Ben Barch at left guard. And then you've got Cade Mays at center. And then you've got Scruggs. So you got 64 and number 70. Right guard. I mean, that's an easy one. You got 69 Ratledge. You also have Frazier that can back that spot up. Ben Barch could probably slide down there in an emergency. And so really you don't need anybody because you already have your backups. You have Frazier and you have Barch. You don't really need another backup because you're going to have a swing backup with Frazier and the possibility that Barch is a swing backup and the possibility that Scruggs can also be a swing interior player. And that's what I love. And one of my better predictions, I think, was about the offensive line, that there was going to be major competition this year and that we were going to have the best second team probably in the league. And it's starting to shape up that way, that our second team is going to be really tough. All right, so we get to right tackle. Obviously, you got Blake Miller. What's his number? 76? And Larry Borum. I mean, I don't see anyone else making this roster out of that. And that's a lot. That's 12. Or is that 10? Or 11? I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9. That's 9. And so Manu will probably get either placed on IR and done, or he'll get an IR designated to return, or they're just going to cut him and do an injury designation. And so they're probably going to wait until the tail end of August to do that. Is that right now? It's the understanding that he's going to be out for up to 12 to 14 weeks. So I'm going to roll 9 offensive linemen right now, and if someone does surprise me, McLaughlin is starting. I mean, he is starting to show some ability. The question is, can he play guard? And I don't think the answer is yes. And there's always a possibility that they keep Miller because he's been doing pretty well too. But I'm going to keep 9. All right, let's go to tight end. This one's, fairly simple, I think, from the beginning. You got 87, 89, Laporta and Brock Wright. Conklin has to get healthy, but he's on this squad when he's healthy. And then Meeks. Lions keep 4. Let's go to running back. I think this one's pretty clear right now, too. You got Gibbs. You have Pacheco. That's your 1-2 punch. Sione got to stay healthy, but he's definitely on this squad. And then it's between Sailors, Small, Blackshear, and Robichaud. Small has the lead probably in the special teams area, but I think Sailors, as a kick returner, really showed what he could do last year. And then as a running back, I mean, he's been great. So I'm going to put Jacob Sailors in that spot. So we're going to keep 4. And you got quarterbacks. What am I at right now? 15, 19, 25. Jared Goff and Teddy B for right now. As I've said before, if Altmaier starts to get hot and he starts to look better, then that makes the argument, is Teddy B willing to sit on the vet squad and get called up? And can you, somehow snake Luke Altmaier down to the practice squad and then protect him? You can protect, I think, 4 rookies, and then you can have up to, I think, 4 vets that have 3 or more years, and the rest of the guys pretty much have to be rookies. So you have 8 guys out of the, 11, 12, or whatever it is, 16? I don't even know the number now. 16? You have 8 guys out of 16 that you can basically protect. And so after that, you can lose those guys at any moment, and they're all going to be players with 1 to 2 years. So I have 25 players on offense. Defense. We'll start with the edge room. It really depends where you put Lacey in this conversation, because he's been out on the edge as the big end, and he's been getting the primary reps at the big end. Our lads has him as a right defensive tackle, and I think that they have him labeled wrong. So some of these guys are going to be hybrids, inside-out guys, so they might be, mislabeled right now, and that's okay. But we know Aiden's not mislabeled. Big 9-7's in there. DJ Wanham's in there, number 98. Derek Moore's got to get healthy at some point. He'll be there. I would have put Tyler Lacey there because he has been the big right defensive end. Ahmed Hassanin. That's 5. And Turner has a battle right now. 1, he's got a battle with health. And 2, he has a battle with Hassanin. Can the Lions keep 6? Here's the cool thing. Lacey is a hybrid. So that means that the Lions are really keeping 5 edge and 1 hybrid. Because you've got Hassanin as a big end. Lacey is a big end. You have Wanham and Hutchinson as your speed ends. You have Derek Moore as a big end backup with Lacey. And then you have Turner that is another big end. So only 2 speed ends could change. It could change later if they feel like they need more speed. But that's what I'm rolling with for now. So Aiden Turner is the last on my list because we haven't seen anything. So that's 6. Defensive line. Obviously, we have number 54, number 91, Ali McNeil, Tyleik Williams. Mekhi Wingo had some sort of an injury today, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know what the full injury is. But Levi Onwuzurike, I think he's going to be in. As long as Mekhi Wingo's healthy, which I think he will be, I don't think that it's a major injury. A potential groin injury today. Cornerback Deshaun Rucker also exited camp today with an ankle injury. All right, so Mekhi Wingo's in. I think he'll be all right. So number 9-4. And that's where it stops for me. I have to see something out of Gil Howard, and I have to see something out of Tyree West. And then there's Aiden Kenyana, who's a wild card. Chris Smith, who's been around for a couple of seasons. Miles Adams, who's played some snaps and has been pretty good. I'm going to throw 50 in there. We're going to keep Skylar Gil Howard because he's a tweener. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. That's 11 guys on the defensive line, and that's a ton. That is probably way too many when you start to get down to the cornerbacks. Like, I'm going to run into trouble. All right, for the will linebacker. You have Malcolm Rodriguez. Let's see. We'll start with Jack. No, I'm sorry. Will linebacker. Duh. Devin White, 45. And then you're going to have Malcolm Rodriguez, 44. We're going to go Mike linebacker. You've got Jack Campbell, 46. Jimmy Rolder, He's going to be out for a while, so he's going to be on potentially some sort of a list, and maybe he gets IR'd and saves a space. And Damone Clark sneaks in. We're going to go down to the Sam linebacker role, and let me just put in Derek Barnes, 55, and Trevor Nowoski at 53. However, I do think that Joe Bocci might have a spot. So the interesting thing with Devin White is you could slide him in as the Mike linebacker number 2 because he has a lot of experience, and then that slides Damone Clark up. And so I kind of like that. And I'm expecting that Jimmy Rolder right now might not make the initial roster. He'll be on some sort of injury designation. And again, that could change here in a few weeks. I'm going to put Damone Clark in as my extra will, and I'm going to slide Devin White down to Mike linebacker number 2. And he's in a hybrid role where he can play both. So you put him out in the will in the nickel. You put him out in the will. You put him out in the will in the 3 linebacker set. He's your backup to Jack. And in the nickel formation, I think you're going to end up having White and Campbell on the field right now with Rodriguez and Barnes backing up. So those are my 6. One more time. That is going to be Devin White as the primary will. Malcolm Rodriguez backing him up. Jack Campbell, primary Mike linebacker with Jimmy Rolder on a list. And White sliding down to Mike number 2, if that does happen. Damone Clark then sliding in to back up Devin White and Malcolm Rodriguez at the will. And Derek Barnes at the Sam. And there's a big fight between Trevor Nowoski and Joe Bocci right now. And I feel like they might take Nowoski because they know him, they trust him, they understand him. He's been around for a minute. If that makes sense. All right, let's get into the safety position. Strong safety. Brian Branch is going to be on a list. So you have Chuck Clark, number 36. You're going to have Thomas Harper, number 12. Free safety. I don't know what's going on with Kirby Joseph, but you're going to have Izzian. And there's no way they're walking away from Maddox. I think Strickland and Dan Jackson, they're just odd men out. Kirby Joseph is going to be the 3rd free safety. Obviously, he is your starter if he's healthy. I'm going to put him at the very end for right now because I don't think I'm going to have enough spots. And maybe I put him on a list. Cornerbacks. We'll go right corner, left corner. Right corner, you have Reed. Left corner, you have Yassine. Right corner. Ooh, where's Whiteside at? Why is he not in there? What's up with that? All right. By backing up Reed, you're going to have Dorsey. Backing up Yassine, you're going to have Whiteside. And then you're going to have Abney. So that's 5. And I think the other thing that we have to look at too is, so Abney is versatile inside, outside. Whiteside he's versatile. He can play some safety and he can play corner. Dorsey is our special teams gunner, and there's no way I think that they're going to walk away from him right now. And then you have Reed. And then you have Reed, who's obviously our starter. So that's 3, 5, 10, 16, 21, 27. Ooh, doggy. I think I'm 2 over. I am 2 over. Special teams. I think this one's pretty easy. You got Hogan Hatton, Jack Fox, Jake Bates. So that puts me at 55. I am 2 over. Who am I cutting? Well, we got to go back to the receiver room. We got preseason football on tonight. We got Hall of Fame game here in just a little bit. I might take a brief break and come back and go live for the game. Okay, so who did I add in the receiver room that is going to be extra? I added Cedric Wilson and Dominic Lovett. And I think that's it, because you got J-Mo, Amon-Ra, Tesla, and Dortch as your top 4. And then I had Lovett and Wilson. All right, I'm gonna do a wild move. Cedric Wilson is going to take the handshake deal. He's going to go to the vet squad. I don't think he has any sort of a big contract at all. I think he's on vet minimum. So that won't hurt. So we go -1 down to 24. I don't think that there's anywhere else that I can slim. There is nowhere else that I can slim. Unless the Lions only kept 3 running backs, which I think would be a mistake. Because you want Vaki as your other gunner, and you want Sailors as another option in the return game. And special teams for both of them. On multiple coverages. So on the defense, remember I had 6 edge and 5 DTs. That's 11, and that's the most I've ever kept. We will definitely have 6 linebackers. I can't see us taking less than 6. And I put Branch on a list, so I can't get Slim there. And then we don't know about Kirby. I'm just going to assume that Kirby's going to play. I'm just going to assume that. So that means I've got to cut someone out of the edge room. And right now, I'll give you a recap. So I got Aiden. Lacey, of course, who's a 2-way player. Wanham, he's not going anywhere. Derek Moore, he's not going anywhere. So I have Aiden, Wanham, Moore, Lacey, Hassanin, and I had Turner in there. All right, so let's go back to defensive line. I think all those guys are going to stay. I hate to say it. Haven't seen enough out of Gil Howard. He's going to be my axe for right now. Why? I don't think he's even going to make it to the practice squad. I think someone's going to snake him. I really do. I think someone's going to snake him. And that's going to be a tough cut because I really like him. And that means that Mekhi Wingo's not making the squad. Well, no, I got Mekhi Wingo in there. I got Onzarike in there. So there's another interesting call. So what if they took... So if Onzarike is healthy... If Onzarike is healthy, then he's in, right? But if he's quasi not healthy at all, he could go on a list. Or he gets sent down to the practice squad where he's going to stay because the Lions have been very loyal to him. So that could be where you see some some roster gymnastics where maybe you can figure out a way to keep Gil Howard by putting Onwuzurike on a vet squad. And I think that, this is so early. It's just week 1 of training camp, but I think that's your squad. And I'd say that that's a pretty damn good squad. That means no McCreary, right? No McCreary, no Deshaun Rucker, no Morris Brown, no Lawrence Strickland, no Dan Jackson. And I would say that about 80% of these guys are probably going to make it back to the practice squad, and that is going to be really tough. Like Eric Hunter, I really like Eric Hunter, but there's a possibility he makes it back. Anthony Lucas, I don't think he has a shot, but he'll make it back. Aiden Kenyatta, there's a possibility he could make it back. Miles Adams, I think he could make it back. Chris Smith is one that may not last. I think he'll end up on a different team. Tom Kennedy always comes back. At some point, that'll stop. But I think that's your squad. That's my 53. So this went into breaking news about Jahmyr Gibbs into a 53. How fun is that? Did I cut Levis yet? Who's Levis? Levi? Yeah, Ahmed's going to make the team. Peyton Turner, he's on the edge right now for me because he hasn't done anything. He's been out of practice with this sore back, or stiff back or whatever it is, and we just don't know what it is. So we don't know if it's a true back injury or if it's just truly stiffness or what's going on. No idea. But I tried to keep as many as I could. Oh, did I skip Rakestraw? Hold on. I did. Didn't I? Did I skip Rakestraw? Yassine White's. Oh, I did. Rakestraw. Whoops. So now I'm back +1. I have Reed, Dorsey, Rakestraw, Yassine, Whiteside, Abney, Izzian, Maddox, Kirby, Chuck Clark, and Harper. I had 2 strong safeties, 3 free safeties. Or you could mix them all up because honestly, Izzian's more of a strong safety. Chuck Clark's more of the free safety. But that puts me at +1 again. That means I got to lose another vet. You can't have less than 4 DTs. You can't have less than 4 defensive line or defensive edge. Rolder's going to be on a list. Possibly. Y'all, we have a really good team because all these players are playing well. Or all the players that I mentioned so far are playing really well, except for Turner. Like Turner's not he hasn't done anything. So I think that could be the answer. Maybe it's Turner that ends up going on the P squad as a vet because he's not healthy. And so they at least park him. But I don't see us walking away from Aiden, Williams, McNeil, top 3. Lacey, no way you're walking away from him. He's way too good right now. DJ Wanham, not going anywhere. Derek Moore, unless he's injured, he ain't going anywhere. Ahmed Hassanin, he's one of the best in camp right now. Mekhi Wingo's got some small issues. That could be the answer, too, at defensive tackle. Maybe you keep 3 bona fide defensive tackles because of Tyler Lacey. So you could go Lee McNeil, Tyleik Williams, Levi Onwuzurike, and then that's it. And then Tyler Lacey is a swing between defensive end and interior. And then you lose Gil Howard, Mekhi Wingo, Chris Smith, Miles Adams, and Aiden Kenyatta. But what a room. What a great problem to have, but what a room. And then that leaves me with 6 corners and 5 safeties, which I think you have to have, because if you're going to more nickel, you have to have more bodies, right? When the Lions played a, primary, base defense with a single post all the freaking time and didn't play a whole lot of nickel. And so there's another opportunity. If you're going to play a lot more nickel, they may not need 6 linebackers because you're only going to have 2 linebackers on the field. And Devin White can play Mike and Will. You're not walking away from Derek Barnes, and you're not walking away from Devin White or Jack Campbell. So there's your top 3. Your best backup is Malcolm Rodriguez. So Jimmy Rolder, we don't know what's going on. I mean, I could just walk away from Trevor Nowaski. Nowaski's going to get the axe. Go 5 linebackers, and hopefully you can store some guys on the P squad. I would love to be a GM of a football team. I would love it, but I would hate it. I would hate the end of August. That is the worst month out of all of this because you just have to walk away from some really good players. Anyway, Gibbs did not get $45 million a season. Who the hell said that? Oh, it's a joke. I'm out on the jokes. I didn't see it. All right, before I get out of here, we got to load up the chat with the new GOAT. You guys got to load it up with the GOAT. And I'm going to get out of here and then may or may not come back. Watch some preseason. Totally forgot we had preseason on tonight. There you go. Loading them up. The new GOAT, Jahmyr Gibbs, record-setting deal. Congratulations, Gibbs. Congratulations. It is well-deserved. And guess what? Guess what? This glove, Jahmyr Gibbs glove, that he threw to me at the Packers game, just became worth a ton of money. I just got to get him to sign it. I might just have to send it in this year. Actually, I will. I'll probably just box it up next week. Send it in. What an awesome, what an awesome opportunity for Jahmyr Gibbs to now go set the league on fire once again. I think he's going to do a great job. I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic about now the Lions don't have any more interruptions right now, right? Just everyone's got to get healthy and move forward. Man, do we have a problem. We have so many good players. So if one other thing, if you look at punt return, of course you have Greg Dortch right now that's leading the way. Isaiah Pacheco also looked incredible. I just don't think that they're going to put him in harm's way as a punt returner, even though he looks incredible. Behind him, what's funny is Dominic Lovett looks really good back there. And then in a kick return, you have Greg Dortch. And then you have Tom Kennedy. And then Jacob Sailors. And that's why I don't think you can walk away from Sailors, because I don't think that Tom Kennedy is going to be able to find a way onto this roster as a receiver. And so I don't think that he's going to have an opportunity to help us in the kick return game. But when Tom Kennedy was returning kicks for us last year, and punts, how many punts did he get? He was electric, man. He was dynamic. He's always been a bolt of lightning. Maybe he should have been a Charger, because that dude is a bolt of lightning when he enters the lineup. And it's hard to walk away from these people. Really good players. All right, it's out of here. I'm out of here. That's right. It is go time. We'll see you guys maybe later. Definitely tomorrow. Adios.